Hey! Welcome back to another episode of
Boys equals midlife crisis squared.
And so, what has totally dropped on my doorstep is what is now commonly seen as the Cobra Valkyries. That's right. The seems like a really super cool thing that did not super duper sell out. I don't know. It seems like maybe they might be right that sometimes trying to release a Joe female, it's like sometimes they're receptive and sometimes they're not. But this is one in which I'm a little surprised didn't sell out because they're damn cool and damn sexy, and I will show you why. So yeah, the box. The really noticeable thing for me is that you have Mutt here in the background. I always thought that was kind of cool. But that said, this gal be number 6 to 8 in the line. Get a lot of cool artwork. And yeah, she does come with a lot of stuff. 2 figures, an additional head, a total of 3 helmets, and oh look, a bunch of stats here. Those stats you're never going to be able to read because they're just too stupid small. And oh look, what everybody in the whole world has been waiting for their entire lives. A Cobra QR code that will take you nowhere. So I don't understand why they're dragging their feet on their website. It's totally stupid. You can't even use the Wayback Machine to find the older version of the website just so you could look at the stats and stuff. It's crazy. The other funny thing is you have to be 4 years and up if you want to play with this toy. Because if you're younger than 4 years, forget it. It's not for you. Oh, boy. So let's take these gals on up out the package. What you say, I do say. All right, so there they are, out of the box. Zip both of them. Since I'm doing it in this format, you didn't see the fact that when I pulled out this one, her head done popped off like it was loose, and it didn't go on with the nice satisfying pop that the rest of them did, which I was in minor disappointment with, but hopefully that doesn't cause a problemas. They come with a ton of stuff, and we're going to dive on in. So let's switch to manual computer. I'm going to get this time I finally have this light charge that I like to use. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit because it makes it easier for me to stand over it. Then I've got to manually adjustificate. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. We're going to zoom out a little bit though, so I can do the full body thing. Okay. There she is. Your Cobra Valkyrie. Ooh, that is tasty. Get a load of that. Wheatcakes on my Cobra. The armor is very shiny. The armor bits, like they definitely put paint apps to make it shiny. And the breather masks have silver, and I've gone back. I bought 2 of these, so I already opened one before, but I'll show the comparison where the Cobra Island version of the Trooper has that silver paint, but the standard release does not. So they seem to match up more with those than the other, but we'll get into that. So this is the one with black and gray accents, similar to what you would find in the Officer with the ethnic skin. The other is Caucasian. Now, one thing I might want to note here is that they're not doing the photo real. This is like straight up paint like you would get in Marvel Legends. So they're not doing photo real. I guess maybe whenever the character has to have a head that is cast in a colored plastic, not a flesh plastic, that they're going to probably just go ahead and do full paint on that. And this is the one with the tan accents with at least one or two paint apps on it. I'm not a big fan of it, but what I think they were doing is they were going for the cartoon. Because in the cartoon, the characters did have that tan accessories. So looking at the accessories, now one thing I'm not sure is going to come across, but it definitely comes across in real life. This is metallic paint on the visor, the red. It's a metallic paint. It's not flat red. So it's really stupid cool. I like it a lot. I'm most definitely making an army of these folks, no doubt. They come with 3 helmets. 2 of these standard helmets that match in design exactly like the other ones, but it's made of a squishified rubber, not hard plastic at all. Now, as it turns out, the officer helmet is a completely different shape. I will show thee, I think. I'll try. So hard to do. So the officer helmet is longer in the back than the standard helmet. Help us, we've been turned into things. So keep that in mind, that the officer helmet, it is bigger, longer, stronger. So anyway, you get those. So that means that no matter what you choose, you are going to have an extra helmet. And I've checked, and they pretty much won't fit on anybody except Zorana, and that's if you take her hair off. They come with a nice, pleasant, sculpted backpack with little peggies. Get it in black, get it in tan. Now, I attempted to use seam paint, like wash. It doesn't work well. Like, this plastic is so kind of a weird gummy that if you use it, and I'll show you an example of it, it kind of makes it look dirty and ugly. It doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Now you get rifles. This, we're going to be seeing a lot of this rifle apparently. We're going to see it in the Snow Serpent when they finally truly show up. And as I've discovered, because this thing comes with blast effect holes, right? And you get a blast effect hole in that, which is useless. Unless you do a straight blast from it, you can't put any other blast effect in it because the rest of this gets in the way. So it's almost useless to have bothered to do it, unless you made a specific blast effect for it, which they don't. It also comes with a magazine, which it fits quite neatly. Boom. Kind of has that look like the ones that come with Valaverse. It looks like a futuristic Valaverse gun. Speaking of futuristic, I do kind of dig the fact that they're going back and doing the old school cartoon Cobra gun. My theory is that they've seen, since they saw Super 7 do it with their releases, they're like, you know what? I think as Hasbro, we should officially release one too. Now, it also comes with a tiny, tiny clip, so be aware that they do come with a separate clip, and it clips in nice and tight. You also get 2 of these hand pistols that look really good cast in black, but in my opinion don't look all that great cast in beige, tan, whatever. You also get a little wimpy blade. It's got reasonable enough detail on it, the ribbing on the handle, but no, cool snake motif like the other folks got. It seems like they're going with these fat blades. Like, this is more of a letter opener than a dagger. Good for poking. So anyway, we can easily just, arm her up to a certain extent. Now, these holsters straps are loose. They have a tendency to fall, and it's a great big ball of no me gusta, but oh well. This is the thing I find a little frustrating, and it makes 0 sense to me. The gun fits where the handle points out, which I guess is good if it's going to be at the back, right? But it's not, because it's to the side. So it's a little weird. That's not usually how you want your gun holstered, at least not that I've ever seen. So it's a little annoying. But there is one thing that I want to show you that is annoying. Probably the single most annoying thing about the figure that I've discovered. It will not ab crunch forward, like at all. You can go back, but you cannot go forward. The ball joint thing here is hindered by the rib cage. It won't go. So unless you Dremel it out, it's just not going to go anywhere. But beyond that, you get, you know, a reasonable array of motion for the most part. All right. But beyond that, they got pretty good articulation. They do have the drop down hips. They have pinless double jointed, which works for me. It works really, really, really well. So a lot of good range of movement besides that. You know, a lot of head tilt, like, huh? What did you say to me? But I didn't finish the accessories because I'm oh. So you get all the same guns, but in this horrific beige plastic, which I don't know. It looks too childish when they do that. It just does. But you get it cast in the that nappy can, even though you'll see the pistols. They kind of look nerfy, but they do have port for blast effects, so there is that. The knife is at least got a paint app on it, so yay. Now the blast effects are different than what we got with the Vipers, because instead of being orange, they're just this bright red. So you get the X one, you get the long limp blast but with a paint app on it. You get another one that's slightly different. You get the blast out with white paint app on it. You get the explosion with no paint app whatsoever. You get the smoke bomb thing that never really works right in my opinion. And the continual shot. And the tiny poof blast. I don't know what you want to call it, just poof, you know, whatever. And you get the smoker. Which actually would be pretty cool if you could fit it in their mouth like they're smoking. But that's what you get in terms of accessory. And one thing of note, I guess technically speaking, one of the other cool things about this set is how much you can change the characters how you want to have them fit. Like for example, with these, I'm going to take off their head and put on the smoker head, like so. And I make these gals standard. I don't want them to be captains, but that's just me. So there you have it, kind of Darth Vader. Look, I am your father. Oh, wait, no. Anyway, so really cool. Me gusta. I like it. I like it. So yeah, let me put her stuff on. And yes, the hats don't stay. They'll stay on, like in the sense that they won't come off, but they certainly aren't going to stick all that well for long periods of time. Put her little nerfy guns. I'll show you the ones I attempted to paint here in just a second, because they ugly. They ugly. There you go. There you go. There you go. You're nice and armed now. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay. So what I did is I used this panel line accent color. It has a little tiny brush. The ink is really watery. You just barely touch it and it just bleeds all through it. And this is what it looks like when you attach them both to the backpack. Now, one thing I will say is that in a way, the backpack is keyed. If you try to put this gun on this side, that little pocket there gets in the way. So this is really how they want you to load it out. But anyway, as you can see, I put some black paint in there and in the scope. And I don't know, it just makes it look weird and dirty, like it doesn't work. I even did it to one of the guns as you can see, it just makes it look dirty. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It's like there's not enough crevices, or it just doesn't accept the paint. I don't know. It's fugly. So I just said, it ain't worth trying to do a wash. Although, I wish they gave you the option. I wish they did that. I wish they said, you know what, you could choose to make them tan or not. That would have been awesome to me. But no, can't have that. No, that would just have been too cool and cost too much money. So, I want to do some comparisons.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Okay. Now, I want to compare. First, I'm going to choose the officer. This is going to be my officer type here, okay? This is going to be hard to do because I can't hold the light and do this at the same time. So, hopefully this shows up well. This is the Cobra officer with now the counterpart. Now, you can obviously tell the first thing right off the bat is that she doesn't have a silver Cobra, right? And one of the things I've loved about the officer and some of the other ones is they had this badge that denotes rank, right? He's got the two stripes. Now, these have little armbands where they have the 2 dots, right? And they are removable. So for my standard character, I've removed the armband because I want this one to not have rank. And I'm now going to consider that this armband that she has is the 2 marks for rank. And in fact, I'm going to have to take it off and flip it upside down so that the flap goes up, like this one, so that it really kind of matches. And now obviously he's got the cloth and she's got, you know, the metal, which I'm going to show you this. This is doofy, but so here is the regular release of the trooper next to, well, it doesn't really matter whether you use this without it or not, but so they are the same kind of blue, which I do like. They do match in terms of blue. They match in terms of red. Armor-wise, they do match up, even though the standard trooper has blue accented armor bits, right? But look at the mask. The mask has no paint app, versus hers has the silver. This I can actually use the light on, kill its battery, but so she has paint apps on the mask, silver, right? Now, this is the Cobra Island variant, who has silver on the paint app, on his mask. Now, one of the things I think matches up well is the mask. So they're both kind of, I guess they kind of match up in terms of style. You know, this kind of silver mask with the red eyes and silver mask with the red eyes. So I think that matches up quite well. I do think that in terms of accessories, the Cobra Island variants do match up a lot better, unfortunately, than the standard release. Oh well. But it is going to look really cool as an army builder. Just saying. Just super saying. Okay. There is one other comparison. Because I'm not the only blue outfit here, folks. No siree bib. You get the ninja. Yes, yes. So, again, the blue is a little lighter. Let's see if I can. Kapowski. Okay. The blue is a little bit lighter, but again, should match up. Now, I did try taking her head off and put the original head on, and sadly, no, the helmet doesn't fit comfortably on it. It starts to smush and looks really, really stupid dumb. So, don't do it. But you could have them march along as well, and it would fit. It would stack up. All right, so let me set up some additional comparisons to other figures.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Okay, first up we have some other ladies of GIJOE Crucified. We got the Lady Jays and we got Zorana. Now, I told you earlier that with Zorana you can actually make her wear one of those hats. Watch this. So I'm just going to pop off her hair, and Make her a soldier. So silly. So silly, Zorana. Why are you being a goofer butt? Why are you being such a doofle? Anyway, I just thought that was slightly amusing. But yeah. Also, by the way, on that ninja, if you pop her head off, these extra heads don't fit, unfortunately. Womp, womp, womp. But, you know what I didn't check was whether or not... No, too big. I can already tell. Too big to receive the training. So anyway, moving on.
Thundercats are loose again after these messages.
All right, so here we now have who might be commanding these troops. Baroness or maybe Cobra Commander. And as we could see, Cobra Commander is at least practically a head taller than the Valkyrie, which I suppose should be expected. And then you have the Baroness, who is only a hair literal taller, but not too bad, not too bad. So they are technically shorter than your average Joe.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
All right, so here we have Shipwrecks, because he likes to be with the ladies. I could see him trying to flirt instead of fight. But, oh, good Lord. Serpentor. I promise you, I do not have him any further forward than they are. He is just that freaking massive over the Valkyries. It's just, yeah. I will be taller. This I command.
We now return to the Transformers.
How about standing them up to some other infantry types, the Viper and the Bat? And again, as we could see, they're taller. But as far as color-wise, I think they blend in and match just fine. Even with those tan accents, they work well with the Bats in terms of yellow. Why not, right? But yeah, I think they fall in line quite nicely. Don't you agree?
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
And lastly, just for the halibut, throw in some Valivers. Why not? So you have the female Steel Brigade, and again, they even the smaller level females are still slightly taller than the Joe classified line. And then you have the Bone Collector, and he is towering above them, pretty much as expected. Anyway, I think we are going to move on.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
All right, so that is the Cobra Valkyries. Final thoughts on it? I like them. They're a great figure. There are problems, yes, but I think they're workaroundable. One of the things you're going to be slightly frustrated with when you're messing with these are the officer helmets. They pop off every 2 seconds. When you're trying to pose them, it just pops off because the flap in the back is very, see, like I barely touched it. So be prepared for that problem. So it's a little bit annoying. Now, obviously, you put them there, they will stay there. It's just they pop off. Like if you put some sticky gum or something like that, it'll probably not be an issue. They'll probably stay on. But like I said, for the most part, I think they look really cool. And so, thusly, oh, and I did put the armbands on the way I wanted them to, because I'm a freak like that. Anyway, onto the photos, onto the photos, onto the photos, because no one really cares.